Welcome to Vlogmas Day 5. I am back at my vanity here. I actually am very Christmassy. I wore this red set to my workout and I am going to be filming for a campaign and I don't want to get anything on the white sweatshirt that I had on. So I am so sorry about getting the last video out late. That's going to keep happening. Like, I will just let you know that I know how I am, and every day sometimes I just don't have the time and I get really overwhelmed by all the things that I could do. So thank you for understanding. My vanity lights won't get delivered until Tuesday, which is really frustrating. They won't turn on. I don't know. It's really annoying. But like I said, they're inexpensive lights from Bezos. So this is what we're working with. I'm doing a very, very light makeup look because the video that I'm doing is the whole storyline really doesn't involve me having a ton of makeup on. So we'll just do a tint. You got to shake this one up. This is the Armani Skin Tint. So I also have the Armani Luminous Silk Foundation, which I have loved for years and years and years. And they came out with the skin tint and I actually really, really like it. So that's what we're using. Last night I went to the Nordstrom party. Now I would have filmed, but there was literally nothing for me to film. I mean, the place was stunning. That was really nice. And walking into Nordstrom, getting greeted with a glass of champagne, thank you. So that was nice. But we were there to support, I guess, this woman who's been so great to me at Nordstrom over the years. Her name is Sandy. So if you were in Chicago, I highly recommend going to see her. TBD on where my eyebrow stuff is. Just has been so helpful over the years, and we've become friends, and she just lets me know about store events, and she's actually a full-time teacher now and then works at Nordstrom part-time. So it's really nice. We love Sandy. So yeah, so we did that. My boyfriend needed jeans, and he has now learned that it is essentially necessary for me to be around when shopping for clothes. So we found some jeans. Apparently Paige Denim has really nice men's jeans as well. He tried on some Rag & Bone because my dad has Rag & Bone and they look really good, and not a good fit on him. Anyways, I bought my niece something. So when I went, actually I wasn't vlogging this. So we have this tradition, my sister and I, with my two little nieces, that for the birthdays, we take them shopping. So wherever they want to go. And this time they wanted to go, well, the one whose birthday it was, she wanted to go to Woodfield Mall, which is a mall out in the Chicago suburbs. And she wanted to go to Kendra Scott. So she wanted to build her own necklace. So what we do, they're young. They're very, very young. They're 7 and 9. And so the 9-year-old was like, I want to build my own. And as we're building them, it was hard for them to decide a bracelet or necklace. So my sister and I were like, okay, you can do 2 pieces. Just one of them is your Christmas gift. 9-year-old's like, you know what? I'm good with one. I want this necklace. And the 7-year-old was like, yeah, I want the bracelet. That's what I want. And I was like, okay, cool. We gave you the option. So so I found a gift for the 9-year-old for Christmas. So I'm very excited. So that is taken care of. And then I still got them some things. So if my sister-in-law is watching, I know you're not going to tell them, but they're obsessed with, the Touchland hand sanitizer. It's the cool hand sanitizer apparently. And so I found on Ulta's website, they have a Crocs cover for it. And I was like, what the heck? And they have Crocs. So I was like, that's it. That's what we're doing. I'm going to get them that, so I got that for stocking stuffer. And then yesterday I got a very special lotion for the 9-year-old. So they're going to be she's going to be happy. They're going to be happy with those. And yeah, right now I am technically making those meatballs I was talking about a couple nights ago because the ground beef was in there and I've never made meatballs before. So I just put a bunch of stuff in. We'll see how it turns out and we'll adjust next time. but I wanted to cook that. It smells so good, actually. What else do we need? We only need a little bit more makeup. Tonight, I am staying in. Tonight, my boyfriend is coming over, and we are going to, well, I decided I'm going to make risotto. I haven't made risotto in so long. My typical standard risotto is mushroom, pea, and sausage. And I realize that the majority of the population hates peas. I need to plug in my makeup mirror. It has completely run out of juice. So anyways, we went to Greek islands and we had saganaki, which if you don't know what saganaki is, it is the flaming cheese. And fun fact about that is that it started in Chicago. That's where it was like invented. So we did that. We also had, I didn't even know this was a thing. We had gyros, but they were pork, not lamb, but it's called something else. And I thought it was so good. Look at me and my like red and green. It was so good. So we had that, and we had some tzatziki, some olives, and it was just overall delicious. But there was a lot of salt, so I was like chugging water all night long. Like when we got home, I was like, oh my God, I need so much water. Did I take my vitamins today? I don't think I did. Today's Friday. I definitely did not. So we're gonna take those. This is why I have the one that has the days of the week, because otherwise I would have no idea. You're officially old when, oh my gosh. So I need to film this video for this brand deal before it gets too dark. And it is 2 o'clock and the sun's gonna set in 2 hours. So my plan is walk and talk. And I need to charge this light too. So my plan is to film this and then go for a walk on the treadmill. I did go to Pilates this morning, but I haven't gotten enough steps in, so we need to do that. Let's hope these have turned out well. We'll see. Oh, that's boiling a little bit too much. They're in here. That's hot. We're not gonna lift that. And the thing is the brand deal is going to post after the holidays, so I need to remove my decor. So I never had a Stanley. I still haven't bought a Stanley, but I was at a event and they gave this Stanley away as part of the goodie bag. So I used it up. These ones float to the top of my mouth. This is my pre and probiotic. So I have to bend over halfway. And for those who tell me I can just tilt my head, I've tried that. Doesn't work for me. I think the meatballs are ready. I have 20 seconds left on my timer. Let's see how they turned out. I'm gonna see if they're cooked though. Sorry, it's not as bright. Okay. Ooh. Like a towel. They're probably overcooked. I will just tell you that. Okay. Let's see. I turn the heat off and they're still bubbling. Ooh. Oh no, they're great. Okay. Let's see. Wow. They turned out really well. I'm so happy. Okay, I'm gonna eat lunch. I'm gonna film. I'll be back on. We will chat in a little bit. Okay, I just filmed and I think I've got what I needed. I think I did. If I didn't, anyways, meatballs turned out fabulous. And I don't know why this is the first time I've ever made them. And now I have ideas for future recipes, but I thought I would answer some questions that you asked me. So if you aren't following me on Insta, I polled, or I asked everyone, what questions can I answer for you? And so here we are. So one of them is, do you ever experience loneliness? And if so, how do you get out of that funk? So loneliness is hard. I think there's a difference between being alone and feeling loneliness. So I do live alone. My boyfriend is here quite a bit and we're together a lot, but I am 44 and I have been single all of my life with the exception of like 2 years. So I've been on my own. And I have to say that loneliness definitely, before I met him, would creep in. Loneliness has crept in my life, especially when I was very single, or I was going on really bad dates from apps. That actually was worse. I would tell my best friend, like, I would rather not go on these dates than go on them and have them just be awful within, moments. So loneliness is something, I have experienced it. I think the most I ever experienced loneliness was when back in 2020, I went through a breakup. So he and I were living together. And then I knew it was the best thing. I was actually very happy because it just wasn't a good match. But we were still in lockdown in Chicago. So I moved into a new building by myself. I was excited to make new friends, but you weren't allowed to be in the public spaces. So I didn't meet anyone for a little while. But I had my job and I talked to, my friends. So I didn't really experience, it was just like little bursts of it. So my recommendation is if you are experiencing loneliness, or you're feeling alone, then, do things, I say this all the time, do things every day that make you happy. So that could be making meatballs for the first time. And there is a serious sense of accomplishment. Like I am about to text my dad and be like, I finally made meatballs. I'm 44 and I finally did it. And, we'll chat back and forth. He'll probably just respond with an emoji or something. But so do something every day that makes you at least one thing. So I'm gonna go for a walk on the treadmill. That's gonna make me feel very proud of myself, very accomplished. And I realize that doesn't have anything to do with being alone or being lonely, but it kind of removes you from that mindset because your mind is more focused on, wow, I just did that for myself. I just made myself a meal, or I just did something good for my body, like going for a walk or taking a walk on the treadmill. And the more moments you have where, at least in my experience, where I focus on, okay, how can I feel a sense of accomplishment or be proud or just do something positive for myself. Taking a bath is something I love to do. We were talking about that in the last vlog or a couple vlogs ago. I love that. That's a ritual that I have. So the more things that I do that make myself happy, the less lonely I felt. And then you have things to like talk about too, like maybe pick up a new hobby. When I first started content creation, that was a hobby. Putting videos on YouTube was a hobby. It was a hard hobby because I had no idea 10 years ago how to, I still am not very good at long form editing. That's why you don't see any fancy stuff in here, but that was my hobby and I focused on it. And I think when you focus on things other than being lonely, it just helps. I don't know if that makes any sense. I hope it does. I think that if you I get asked a lot, how do you make friendships in your 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, and beyond? Well, for me, I realize I live in a big city, so it is different, but I purposefully, not this building, but my previous buildings, moved into buildings that were rental only buildings because they have building events and you can meet people. And I did, and I met a lot of new friends that way. I had a really big social circle in the building. It was so fun to walk through the hallways, see people, say hi. The drama comes with that too, of people you're like, about. But, I also go to Pilates and I see a lot of the same people. I don't really talk to many people at Pilates. That's just like a me thing. I do talk to the instructors. I like them a lot. We chat. I have met quite a few girls there. I think that you could go to a coffee shop regularly or maybe the library regularly. People are creatures of habit. So if you're looking to meet new friends, do things in patterns because other people are doing that. And also, I've heard great things about Bumble BFF. I've never been on it, but I have heard really great things about that. So maybe give that a try. So yeah, there's that. The other question I was asked, do I miss gymnastics? No. Like no part of my being every day is like, God, I wish I could still do gymnastics because that sport was brutal. I'm gonna go over here. I did that so I started gymnastics when I was 3. I was in tumbling and very quickly I moved into club gymnastics. And by the time I was 12, I was training 5 hours a day, 6 days a week, plus school and everything like that. It was so hard on my body. And I actually, oh my God, my gymnastics, how I feel about gymnastics is, I guess we can talk about it if you want to talk about it. So it's kind of a 3-parter. So when I was in it, I loved it. I remember the day I stopped loving it. I was trying out for this gym, the one that I would then work out 5 hours a day, 6 days a week. And I was like, oh my gosh, I don't know if I want to do this. Like but I had worked my whole life, all 12 years of my life, to, well, 9 years, the past 9 years. So like, if that's all you know, and you work at that, and I worked really hard, and I was really good for my age. And I was like, well, I don't know what my life is outside of this, so I'm gonna do this. And I wanted to be in the Olympics, so that was the gym you would go to if you wanted to be in the Olympics, Division I, things like that. So I did. And it was brutal. In total, my entire gymnastics career, I've had 17 fractures. One of them was not gymnastics related. I was little and fell off my grandma's bed and broke my collarbone. But the other 16 were from gymnastics. I had 2 concussions. I don't know how many sprained ankles. I'm also not counting fingers and toes because I have no idea. Like, I'm sure I've broken toes. Like, I'm positive, but you had to work out through the pain. We had to ask to go to the bathroom. We had to ask if we could go get our water. We were bribed into doing skills, like bribed like with money from the coaches to like go for these crazy skills. It was a lot. It was brutal. I wasn't really friends with anyone in the gym. Like, I had friends in the gym, no one I stay in touch with. Some of the girls do keep in touch today, and I think that's great. That was like never, it's an individual sport. It's not a team sport. And we beat up our bodies. We were yelled at. I was called fat. Maybe every single day. I definitely once a day, maybe more, because practice is 5 hours long. So they had every opportunity to tell you that you were fat or chubby, or you needed to suck it in, or, giving us diet pills, or like giving 12-year-olds diet pills. Insanity. We were punished for gaining a pound or 2. We were punished for if the coach was in a bad mood. We were yelled at, and we fell, and I broke bones, and I had concussions, and but I had a goal. And I was going to go to the Olympics. And I remember the day when I realized I wasn't, because of my age. So 96 Olympics, I would have been 15, and you had to be 16 to be in the Olympics. And then I was like, okay, so in the year 2000, I will already be in college. And I didn't want to delay that. I also, honestly, like looking back, like I wasn't good enough for the Olympics. Like I was high level, but not that level. That's a different kind of level. But I trained with them. We trained with Olympic athletes all the time. And I did the sport at the beginning of college, my freshman and sophomore year. And, I'll rewind. This is a really long story. So, sorry, I can speed it up if you want to hear more. You let me, I can't talk. If you want to hear more, you just let me know in the comments, because I'm happy to talk about any aspect, like expand on any aspect. So, okay, so we were in the gym, we were training. I fell. I got lost in the air. You probably heard about like the twisties, which like Simone Biles in the Olympics, like 2 Olympics ago. That's a real thing. It's a real thing, and it's really, really dangerous. And I got up in the middle of the air, and I lost my air sense, which is not good, because I was doing one flip, 2.5 twists. And so when you do a half twist, you land kind of facing forward, so you can step forward in case you like over rotate. Well, I got lost in the air, and I only did 2 twists, which means I landed like this. My feet went, and our floor exercise was along a wooden platform for the vault runway. And my head just went like that. And I had a concussion. I had amnesia for 3 days, didn't remember anything. And then I finished that season, and then my parents were like, it's time to take a break from gymnastics. And I hated them at the time and just cried every single day and night because it was my identity. And then a year later, I decided to go back. I joined the dance team at school. I love dance. I joined diving. I did diving for a year. And then I went back and I went to a different gym. It was only 3 hours a day, like 4 or 5 days a week, so much less. And I ended up doing high school gymnastics. My high school didn't have a team, so I competed on behalf of my high school, but like trained at my club. Anyways, my junior year in high school, I broke both my ankles at the same time. Now, I can show a video of that. I'm going to give you ample warning. I'm about to show a clip of that video. So if you would like to fast forward, fast forward. So that was me breaking both my ankles. I had the stomach flu. I had vomited in the garbage can right before that. My mom didn't want me to do it. My coach didn't want me to tumble. My coaches were like, you need to. And that was kind of the beginning of the end for me. But I've been training my whole life, so I came back way too soon. I had 7 fractures, 4 on my right, 3 on my left. And I came back too soon because I wanted to go to college. I did college gymnastics. The coaches were brutal, like beyond brutal. Like were they worse than my club? I don't know. Hard to tell, but brutal. I didn't realize this vlog was going to turn into me talking about my gymnastics career. I hope you don't mind hearing it. If you do, that's fine. You can pause, whatever. And so those coaches were, I kept getting called fat. It was, there was a lot to it. And I had changed the way I ran because my ankles still hurt. So then I ended up having stress fractures in my shins. And then eventually my sophomore year, I woke up, I just could not walk. I'd wake up in the morning and could not walk. And I decided to retire from the sport. And then I did diving in college for a year. And I was like, you know what? I am done with sports. Like, I am done with this. And I'm going to take dance classes for fun. There's the one thing left that I do that I have fun with. So I did that. And I was really angry with gymnastics for a long time until, and this is going to sound real strange, but if you're familiar with the Larry Nassar case and the beyond awful things that he did to little girls, I listened to every podcast, watched every YouTube video, I've watched every series on it. And oddly enough, by watching that, because what they did is they showed the environment that USA Gymnastics that created at the time in these gyms. And, you know, my coaches wanted to be like Bella and Marta. And Larry Nassar was like the USA Gymnastics team coach or doctor. And I just saw the environment that was created that would allow someone to, like, we were so controlled that, like, I saw it from an adult perspective and from a different perspective. And I was like, oh, it's not the sport I hate. It was the people who were running it and what they did to us. And, you know, was that last year? I think it was last year. I got a message from a former teammate, and we were talking on the phone, we were catching up, and it's crazy how the memories come back because I don't talk to anyone from that time of my life. And she's like, do you remember Larry was in our gym? And I was like, oh my God, I forgot. She's like, yeah, remember the massage room? And I'm like, oh my God. Yeah, it was in the back. It was dark. So there's a lot to it. So the question, do I miss gymnastics? Absolutely not. Have I figured out the positive things that it's brought to my life? Absolutely. My work ethic, when I put my mind to something, There's really no stopping me. That work ethic is built into me. Resilience is, I mean, in gymnastics, you literally fall again, and you get back up and you fall. It's not just like a fall. You are like boom, 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 fall. And you get back up and you do it again, and you have bruises and you have tears, and you get up and you do it again, and you make little tweaks and you get better, and then you tweak it again and you get better, then you fall, and then you fall and fall and fall, and then you finally make some progress, and then eventually, sometimes you get the skill. And once you get that skill, it's time to move on to the next one. So it's really a metaphor for life, and it taught me a lot of life lessons. I had no idea, fast forward into, putting myself on the internet. And for some reason, a lot of people think it's okay that because someone puts themselves on the internet that they can say mean things to them and about them. And I don't know why I don't do that. My friends don't do that, but it is a thing. And it's crazy because I experienced what I did in gymnastics. And so that is kind of just like, you have nothing on the insane coaches when I was 12 years old and what they said and did to me. So, but in the positive way, it just prepared me for so many things in life. And, I've applied a lot of that to building my career in content creation, because it is all about iterating. It's about having things flop or not work well, and then trying again, even though your ego's bruised, and you keep trying, you keep tweaking, you listen to things, you tweak, you get better, and that's like what I love most about it. And that's how I've kind of seen the parallels of the two, of my gymnastics career and then this career. So I do miss flipping, which is what most people do not say. So this past summer, I was at the pool with my nieces, and there were diving boards, and I was more excited than they were. And so we, what's it called? I gave the 7-year-old my camera. I was like, I need you to film me diving. And I got to flip and twist, and they know I can do gymnastics. Like, they've seen me do cartwheels. We do them all the time, handstands, things like that. And they're like, oh, okay, cool. But like the other kids were like, whoa. And I'm like, you guys should be more impressed. So yeah, I miss flipping. I do handstands a lot. Pilates, there's another reason I do Pilates, because it feels most familiar in my body. So I just really love the movements. I never got that with yoga. It's not that I don't like yoga. Yoga doesn't do what Pilates does for me, like with my mind and my body. So that is a very long answer. Okay, I am finally going to make this risotto. This is kind of like a fun background. We have the arborio rice. I think I'm gonna use this bone broth, but I also made, what's it called? Some broth here from like this bouillon, I don't know if I'm saying that word right, stuff. And then I have mushrooms and peas and sausage, and I'm very excited to make it. I will not be filming the whole time, but I will show you what it ends up looking like, because making risotto takes forever and ever and ever. And I am going to pour myself a glass of wine while I make it. Thank you for watching this vlog. I know a lot of it was about the gymnastics part. So if you do want to hear more, because there's a lot more, you just let me know. And any other questions you want me to answer. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you tomorrow.